welcome back to Inside Outer Cape, Provincetown Real Estate with Nate and Laura. I'm Laura Potenza, and I am joined, as always, by my partner, Nate.
We're coming to you from a very sunny morning here in Provincetown, but it's also very cold.
Yes, and today we're tackling the ultimate unsexy topic that can actually make or break a real estate deal on the Outer Cape, and that is sewer and septic.
Yes, the number two most important thing to know.
You had to go there, didn't you?
I did.
Okay. So look, when people are house hunting out here, they're usually dreaming about sunset views and where to hang their hammock.
Right. They aren't usually thinking about what's happening beneath their feet. But on a sandbar, what goes down must go, well, somewhere.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And if you aren't careful, your dream cone can actually turn into a very expensive science project.
Yep. Well, much of the Outer Cape, and we're talking Wellfleet, Truro, and parts of Eastham, still relies on Title V septic systems. Provincetown has been the overachiever.
Mm-hmm. We actually started our town sewer plan over 25 years ago. We're currently at a point where roughly half of the properties in P-Town are connected.
Yes, but the town is on a mission. The goal is to have sewer service available to every single property by 2030.
They recently greenlit about $75 million for modernization, too.
So if you're driving down Commercial Street and see a crew digging a trench the size of a subway tunnel, don't be alarmed. That's just the sound of progress.
Or the sound of your property value going up. But for the homes that aren't on the grid yet, we have to talk about Title V.
Yes. So in Massachusetts, Title V is basically shorthand for your septic system.
If you're selling a house that has a Title V, the state requires a passing inspection before the home is sold.
Right. That's so everyone can be sure it's not fertilizing the neighbor's basement. It's a thorough exam.
So, one question we get all the time is, can I add a bedroom?
Right. People assume, and I understand why they might, that if they see a bed and a nightstand in a room, it's a bedroom. Not so fast.
So in Massachusetts, your bedroom count is strictly tied to water flow capacity. It's all about the math.
Right. And the standard is 110 gallons per day per bedroom.
So if your Title V system is rated for 330 gallons, you've got a 3-bedroom house. Even if you have 6 rooms you think could be bedrooms.
Yeah, and if you try to call that extra den or a bonus room a bedroom, the Board of Health will have something to say, and they don't play.
So now when it comes time to connect to the town sewer, the town usually uses your old Title V flow as a guide to your new sewer allotment.
Right. So even though a home will no longer be tied to a Title V septic system, it will still be limited by the water flow allotment that the town assigns.
But what if the house is a Mayflower original and just has an older, dated cesspool?
Oh, yeah. The dreaded cesspool. So a cesspool is considered an automatic failure.
And in that case, things get a little more personal. The town's health agent might have to do a literal walkthrough of the house to count habitable rooms.
Right. They'll decide the legal bedroom count based on the layout. That's where the ACO, or Administrative Consent Order, becomes your best friend.
It sounds like something you get in trouble for in high school, but it's actually a lifesaver.
Right. And what it is a legal agreement with the town that says, hey, your system failed, but since the town is bringing the sewer to your street in the next few years, we won't make you spend $35,000 on a new septic system today.
It's a massive relief for sellers. It basically lets you keep the old system limping along until the sewer line is ready and allows the home to be sold without the passing Title V.
Right. But let's talk about the cost of the ticket to freedom, the sewer betterment.
So when you see this on an MLS listing, it's the property's share of the cost to build the town's infrastructure.
Right. And so for a standard 2-bedroom home in the new expansion areas, you're looking at an estimate of about $14,300. That's $7,150 per bedroom. And that's paid back to the town over 20 years.
And sellers, don't panic. This cost conveys to the buyer, who assumes the remaining balance.
Mm-hmm. And it's usually tacked onto the property tax bill, and the new owner just picks up the payments where the seller left off.
Think of it as a peace of mind tax, so you never have to worry about a septic pump or truck blocking your driveway during the 4th of July party.
Yeah, that's worth every penny. So now let's travel south to Wellfleet. They have very specific incentive for clean water, oysters.
Wellfleet's economy and its very soul are tied to those oyster beds, and nitrogen is the enemy.
Yes, and they've had quite the year with their bylaws. Initially, in early 2025, they passed some really strict rules.
It would have required every homeowner to upgrade to a high-tech nitrogen-reducing system just because they were selling their house.
And it caused a bit of a panic in the real estate community, sort of like a septic apocalypse.
Okay. But credit to the Wellfleet Board of Health. They listened to the feedback, and the newest bylaws have been relaxed.
So now a home sale doesn't automatically trigger a $40,000 upgrade.
You only have to worry about that best available nitrogen-reducing technology if your current system actually fails an inspection.
It's a huge win for common sense. They've also moved toward retrofit-ready systems.
So if you don't have to replace a failed system, you can install one that's ready to be upgraded later once the town's final wastewater plan is set. It's much more flexible.
Right. And Truro is right there in the mix. They just released a draft comprehensive watershed management plan that looks 20 years ahead.
They aren't planning a town-wide sewer like P-Town, but they're looking at cluster systems for neighborhoods like Hammond Harbor.
Right. I'd think of it as a neighborhood-sized septic system where everyone chips in.
I love the idea of neighborhood septics. It's like a community garden, but much less fragrant. Sorry.
But seriously, the whole Cape is working on this. There's a 2.75% tax on short-term rentals that goes into a water protection fund for the whole Cape.
That money is being handed out to towns to help pay for these massive cleanup projects. It's a Cape-wide effort because our aquifer is incredibly fragile.
Right. And just as a reminder on our science, the aquifer is the big underground bubble of fresh water we all drink from. It's also why you'll see water bans in the high season.
Oh, yes. Summer water police are real. From May through September, most towns ban non-essential use.
And that means no automatic sprinklers, no power washing the deck, and no washing the car in the driveway.
So if you want to water your hydrangeas, you have to do it by hand with a hose, usually before 9 a.m. or after 5 p.m.
But here's a pro tip for the serious gardeners. If you want to keep your lawn looking like Fenway Park without breaking the rules, you can actually have a private well drilled just for irrigation.
So since it's not using the town water, it doesn't fall under the municipal plans.
Right. And you can keep your roses blooming while your neighbor's lawns turn a lovely shade of August brown.
It's the ultimate Cape flex. But even with a well, we have to be mindful.
Because Provincetown does regular water testing off the harbor as well, usually weekly during the summer.
If we get a massive rainstorm, the bacteria levels can spike.
Yeah, unfortunately. So you should sign up for the town's civic alerts at provincetownmass.gov.
They'll send a text right to your phone if the harbor isn't safe for swimming or if there's a storm coming.
Right. And so it's not just for poop alerts, people. It's public safety.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, we live in a beautiful but very delicate ecosystem.
Yes. Taking care of our wastewater isn't just a legal requirement. It's how we make sure we can still swim in the harbor and eat oysters for the next 100 years.
Well said. So let us handle the dirty details and you can focus on the fun.
If you'd like us to send a copy of the new Wellfleet Septic Frequently Asked Questions so you can see exactly how the relaxed rules might affect your next purchase, or if you have any other questions, just text or email us.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.